Good evening and welcome to the January 12th, 2026 meeting of the Hampden Selectboard and Board of Health. I'd like you all to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We need the glacial ice for the drinks. We do.
Stop it. This meeting is being held in the large meeting room, hopefully for the last time, as I'm told that, sir, no problem, we should be in the new place in 2 weeks, right? We should be in the new room in 2 weeks, right? Yes. Excellent. You'll make it happen. Thank you, Sulu. We are broadcasting over Zoom. We are also recording the meeting. Is there anyone else recording the meeting? Seeing none, let's move on. All right, so many of you have been here before. We're skipping the minutes and pushing them to next week. This is the annual State of the Union, we call it, budget kickoff meeting. Kind of a co-presentation of the advisory committee and the select board. We used to have it in December. We had a suggestion that it'd be better to have it in January, so people have a good 6-month recap, and here we are. So the format, many of you know this, we typically go around the room, a short brief comment, if you will, on the current year, a longer comment, if you will, on what you see coming up for fiscal year 27, which is July 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2027. We want you to be optimistic, happy, but we invited Dick as well, you know, so we can have that balancing act. So there's really no format, but first I'm going to have Doug give a little recap from the advisory standpoint.
All right, well, Happy New Year, everybody. We made it through the most recent budget. I'm sure everybody has heard people aren't happy about the increase on their taxes. Not a surprise to any of us who have been paying attention. And unfortunately, we anticipate that the coming year is going to be equally difficult. And as such, we are asking departments to submit level service budgets, which I believe everybody here knows a level service is exactly that. Whatever the level of services that's being provided now, budget for that, and whatever the dollar is that flows from that, put that in the budget request. We'll get the schedule distributed of the meetings with advisory along with the sheets. It'll be the same budget sheet which we've used previously. If anybody has any questions about that, well, you can speak to either myself or Lauren knows about it, Dick knows about it. So there's plenty of people available if there's questions, but we're asking that it be level service, and obviously we anticipate that there'll be some variance. There always is. If there is, please just make a note down at the bottom section in the comments as to why it's either up or down in terms of the level of the services being requested. We just ask that people try to restrain your budget requests, because we anticipate that it is going to be difficult. The preliminary numbers that we've seen from the school are already quite large, and that is going to make putting together the budget quite challenging. So unless anybody has any specific questions, I don't have anything further. Anything? No? Okay, thank you.
Doug, when do you anticipate, and many people have been through this before, your meeting schedule will start typically mid-February, I think, after the school vacation, or?
Probably before.
Probably before.
Yeah, I have to put it on the calendar, but we don't schedule during school vacation week.
Right, so you want to catch it beforehand.
Probably have a couple of meetings in advance of that, but we'll get that out and then back up from the town meeting in terms of when we have to have everything ready.
Okay, and for us as well, we were just talking about when we're going to start our schedule. As Doug said, the departments that report directly to the select board, we'll schedule those meetings, so we have a sense of police, fire, building, et cetera, and then bring those forth at a later point in your schedule, so we review them together. All right, so I've got a non-alphabetical list to go around department-wise, and we'll end up with us. As you know, Brian is not here right now. He's taking a well-deserved short break, so feel free to talk about him in his absence if you wish, but he will see it on the YouTube recording later. So we're going to start with the new guy, the police department. So I want an in-depth review of all the time you've been here, but quickly, same thing, the year, and I'm sure you reviewed that with your current people, but what you project for next fiscal year, your needs as you see them. And here is that we always anticipate you're advocating for your department. That may not be what comes out from advisory and the select board as recommendation, but you should be advocating for your department with a little eye towards the fact that you know the town's going to be challenged going forward. There you go. Made it easy for you.
Okay, well,
And now Dan.
in these first couple of months, I've been so busy, so many things, I don't want to list them all here because it would take too long, too much valuable time, so we'll cut right to it, but, lots of things. So currently, where we sit at the police department, right now, budget is looking good. We are on track for this fiscal year. I think, part of that is due to the fact that we are currently still down an officer and a position. So in terms of salary line, we are on track at the moment. We're looking pretty good for this fiscal year, absent any major problems or, hopefully no injuries or anything like that. We never know what could happen. Recently we've had some slips and falls on ice in town, just with police officers. So you never know when someone's going to get injured or anything like that. We can't really anticipate that. Otherwise, we're in pretty good shape right now. So on track. For the future, obviously with an eye towards a level funded budget, we are trying to fully staff the police department. I need to hire one additional officer. I need to reappoint that detective position to get us to full staffing. That being said, with contractual obligations and everything going into fiscal '27, I'm hopeful that we can stay level funded. Obviously, we have those contractual needs that we need to meet. And at full staffing, I think it will be a little bit tight, absolutely. The building's in pretty good standing. I've been working with Herb on a couple of things there, hopefully no huge costs coming in there in terms of building and maintenance. A few heating issues there that we're working on. We are working on filling that staffing position, obviously. I'm also trying to recruit a couple of more reserve officers. I've got one waiting in the wings currently. And as you know, those reserve officers really help to sort of defray the bottom line on our budget for filling gaps when full-time officers are out. They work at a much reduced rate, so that's very helpful to us. Talking to the current staff at the union and looking at the bigger picture, we are certainly down numbers in that reserve corps. So that's something I'm looking to try to bolster up a bit, adding one or two, because it's very little cost to us to add them, but it saves us on the bottom line, on that salary line. So that's what we're working on right now. Again, we'll shoot for that level funded. There are a couple of needs that we know we need. We know that we're getting pretty long in the tooth on a couple of our police cruisers.
Well, that was the thing.
So-
The second part, level funded on the
Yeah.
standard budget, but your capital needs going forward.
So, capital need, which we don't, it's not baked into our standard budget, is that police cruiser every year. We haven't had one in a couple of years. That's something we certainly need. We're getting, as I say, long in the tooth on mileage and wear and tear on those cars. It will end up costing us more in the long run. But I think I'm also interested to discuss with the department heads, maybe trying to play well with other departments. And if there's a need for a used vehicle or two, maybe that's something where if we can save money overall as a town, where if the police department gets a new vehicle, but we can pass along a decent vehicle, we'll take it. We'll start the bid, but we'll see.
It's not a free car.
No, it's not free.
It's not a free car.
But I'm just trying to come up with some additional ways that we can get a bit creative that save everybody a bit of money. Certainly, I'm also going to look at, unfortunately, we're a little bit long overdue on replacement on firearms. That's another capital request for our duty handguns. Obviously, there's a cost there. I'm working on some estimates now and some ideas on how to reduce those costs. But that is another capital type request that I'm going to be coming to the board with. So that's where we stand. Again, trying to get us up to full staffing at the police department. And that's a challenge.
Are those still the Smith & Wesson revolvers? That are the,
Thankfully, not revolvers. It's not 1990. Pistols, yes, but not revolvers.
okay, but they're still a Smith & Wesson?
Correct.
I thought there was discussion about replacing those.
There was, but I don't think we took action. We needed the rifles a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Correct.
But,
So we've asked for a handgun replacement once and no action at that point. So I'm
think we had-
working on some.
every year it's something, whether it's, we had to do the vest replacement, the AED replacement, the rifle replacement.
I thought we had talked about using one of the
We
accounts.
had talked about using the, I think, the detail account to offset some of that, and Brian was looking into whether or not that was possible.
Yeah,
Obviously, a few years back, we remember we used the detail account, the surplus in it, to underwrite half the cost of a cruiser, I think, at that point.
yeah.
And
That's that administrative fee part of
basically,
the
right,
police
that,
details.
it's no different than basically you're just sweeping it, and it goes to the same difference. Like, it'd be free cash the following year. All right, you sure that's it?
That's it.
No, just a quick point, though, you talk about the fact you have a vacancy, but aren't you backfilling that? Is there a cost with backfilling on overtime, or, so are you really saving anything?
So there was a cost to it, except right now, we haven't filled that
You haven't
detective
actually-
position.
So you don't fill the opening per se?
So the opening is not filled right now, so we're not backfilling shift work. The shifts are filled because we are not filling the utility detective position, that's a Monday through Friday. So obviously, that's sort of the low-hanging fruit, unfortunately, so we fill the shifts instead.
So not to get into the weeds, who's doing the detective work?
So right now, it falls to each patrol officer and the sergeants to just do that work, and then the court work that goes along with that, which can be, sometimes it's a few days a week, sometimes it's one day a week. It just depends on the court schedule and the level of activity. So tomorrow, we'll be going to the Palmer Court with a complaint, and I'm trying to fill in that gap a bit too when I have time. I wasn't able to this past week, so somebody on the shift has to do that. And again, for right now, I sort of step in to fill in when I can.
Okay,
Okay?
we'll go into more detail, obviously, when you meet with us. Thank you. All right, fire department, chief. Right over to you there you go.
Fire department's doing well. We had earlier a good email today. I think the BRAT, the new forestry truck, should be delivered in February. It's on the production line now. If anybody wants to go to firematic.com, I believe, and check on the BRAT, they can actually see the progress of the truck.
Really?
We have our software going live on February 1st for the new NIRS reporting software. State's no longer supporting NIRS, so we have to do the national software reporting. And as far as budgets, we've had a few hiccups in maintenance. We had to buy some tires for the tanker, and we just had the manifold go on our engine too. So that's out of service for a couple weeks. It's over and getting repaired. It's going to be custom part. The truck's 26 years old, so nobody has that part in stock. It was custom, probably anyways.
I know we've always been fortunate that the fire department, you guys have a reputation, you guys and girls have a reputation of doing a lot of the work as you can. Is the manifold thing something, or we're going down the bulldog for that? You have to, as these get more and more complex, the opportunity for self-service goes away, right?
Right. We switched a few vendors over time to save some money. We have more of a local guy, but what we're doing now is we reached out to WBO and East Meadow, who's works with tanks and pumps and stuff like that. They're willing to take the job on. We've used them for a few other problems we've had in the past. They've been reasonable. They've been very quick to take it in and get it back to us. So it's a win-win. We don't have to travel very far with the truck. Keep our downtime, obviously, equipment back in service quicker. We do have Peter Hatchett's on the department, he saves us a ton. We do a lot of maintenance, a lot of small repairs ourselves. Obviously something that's large, that manifold is fairly big. We have to set the chain all the way sit out of there. It's a pretty big major repair. It's not a little thing. We did get some kits to repair the valves, so we have it apart. We're gonna rebuild all the valves in the truck. We just had the lights redone on it, well, the emergency lights. So we're trying to keep the equipment going as best, as to keep it up to date as far as NFPA requirements.
The capital needs for next fiscal year, what do you think they're looking at?
I think we're good as far as capital needs because we, we're really focused on the new fire station. Building committee meets on Tuesday, and we're waiting to get that OPM contract signed. We still don't have that. The town has been waiting 8 weeks on that one. I think it's on the inbox of Brian's computer. You said the same.
Well, let's be clear, and I know that talking with Brian and Mark about that, they were correct to look it over because the original contract we got was not in favor of the town. And I give props to both Brian and our attorney that they caught that they were trying to give us a contract that really benefited a lot of them. And we revised it so it does protect the town.
Yes, the town asked them to provide their own contract, and that's what happened.
Right.
But I'm just saying, 8 weeks, there's another contract needs to be done for the designer architect. That's ready to go as well. Needs to go to to Rose or wherever Brian needs to look at it. He hasn't seen it yet. So he's got a lot to do when he gets back. I'm sure you guys have a lot for him to do as well. But so until those topics are taken care of, we can't move forward with that.
Other than though the building, obviously, equipment-wise, is there anything in the projection for 27, FY 27, or vehicle-wise? No.
We're good. We're taking, I think the budget this year might be a little tight with those major repairs I brought up. That's why I brought them up. But I think we have the software program for our needs for continuing on.
Okay.
That was built into the budget last year, so I think we should be pretty solid going forward.
And you'll hopefully have the new truck rolling in, hopefully.
We do have one open position that I'll be filling soon, probably internal posting. We did move one of our firefighters up to lieutenant this year, which created that spot for to be filled.
Okay, great. Thank you, Chief. The man of the hour, the man with the plow, Mark. I don't know if can you count him? I don't know if we can catch you on the microphone from back there, so. That's good. There you go. Look at that.
Good evening, everybody. Mark Langoni from the Highway Department. I'd say fiscal year 26 is looking on track. There is one account I am a little concerned about, and that's our road machinery maintenance account. As you know, we're lucky to have a few employees who are pretty mechanically inclined. That's really helping to save with some repairs and stuff. But like as Ed was saying, and John, you said it too. Sending things out is not getting any cheaper. And with the technology that these trucks have, even our dump trucks, you're looking at specialized technicians that need to work on it. Of course, the labor rate or the shop rate goes up, the parts are up. I'm not throwing in the towel yet, but I'm watching that account. For fiscal year 27, and I'll see how I end this year, but for 27, and I still have inspections to do for the whole fleet. And I may look to bump that up a couple thousand. On the flip side, there's some accounts that I think I can scale back a little on, so I think that'll help. One of them would be my catch basin cleaning account. So I've been watching that account the last few years, and of course with not using, now we're at the point where we're not using any sand, period. that is helping a lot with our catch basin cleaning and also our street sweeping. With the catch basin cleaning, I haven't scaled back on that account yet, only because that's by the hour and anything could happen. I think I'm at a point now where I can maybe trim a decent amount off of that account. Was also fortunate enough to have a low bid contractor last year, and they're actually interested in renewing the bid for, or renewing their contract for this year. This company, the person that they sent out was like nobody I've ever seen, as far as it was just, I mean, he went through the whole town in a matter of weeks, and I mean, it really saved us a lot of money.
Well, I know when you talk about not using the sand, obviously the thing with the sand was the disposal as a hazardous material, and I've heard it was like $100 a ton.
Even
Back
that,
in,
yeah.
So by removing that, you're taking a big component out.
Right.
Your current snow and ice, and I'm just guessing by the fact that we're seeing all this activity. On weekends, et cetera, would you anticipate?
I just ordered another 10 loads of salt. It might be a week or two early this year.
How about, so next year, capital? How is the fleet? I know you got a new mower last year, so you're in great shape.
Yeah. So I have a few capital concerns, one being
The loader.
And then I believe that's a 97 with around 14,000 hours. And that would come in, that would be a huge help, especially with the on-taking of plowing this parking lot. The other capital, and this is, again, I'm gonna have to really sit down and weigh these and prioritize. We've got a 2004 dump truck that I'm looking to replace at some point. But with that, one of my thoughts is to downsize a little bit, not get such a big, expensive dump truck. I mean, there's options. I can get like a mid-sized dump, like an F600.
I was just saying, yeah.
Or an F550 or 600. Those come equipped with like an all-season body, so we can have a sander and,
Wasn't there a possibility that you could use some of the Chapter 90 money towards that loader?
Yes, yep. So Chapter 90 does qualify, or purchase of equipment does qualify for Chapter 90 funds.
Okay,
And of course,
so something we can explore
it's
in the
something we can
future.
explore, yes, absolutely. Yep.
Right. I think everybody says that you're doing a great job on the roads. I mean, I hear this from everyone, that when they come to Hampden, they know where the town line is because our roads look so good. And I think everybody here for the parking lot as well, there was a bit of a question how it was gonna be. It's great. Dan, I'm sure you're keeping Mark in the loop, for instance, especially with activities on weekends.
Yeah,
He knows when the basketball schedule is, things like that.
Yeah, I don't know if I gave Brian full access to all the event calendars for everything going on in the building, so I don't know if he's passed that along, but that's.
Probably not, so yeah. So that's something to be sure we're on the loop on that.
Sure.
Great.
And everybody's a phone call away too, so I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
So barring no, surprises or anything, we're in good shape this year. Next year, like I said, I might ask for a little bit more on one, but I'll be taking away from some others.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. And we have with us the Executive Director of the Senior Center.
Hi,
Fresh off of the enrollment nightmare.
thanks be to God. Senior Center is good. I don't see any issues in the current budget year. Yeah, I think we're in good shape, tracking appropriately, and things are moving along swimmingly. For next year, the only thing I can see increase-wise is, utilities are going up. Electric, gas expenses for our supplies increase every year, so I always put in a little bit of extra money in those utility and building maintenance line items for those expenses. I just had a question, Doug, when we submit our initial level service budget, are we holding our salary where it is? And
Thank you, yes, yes. Yes, please just hold the salaries even. It's too early we haven't had any discussions yet about what those COLAs will be.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then capital, as you know, the bathroom project is currently preparing to start. And the building committee is looking at the HVAC project, which was approved, so they're working on that. And then next year is probably a look again at the roof potentially and the window project that we pushed out a little bit.
Okay.
Well,
But no funding issues. I mean, we talked about the grant thing this year, but hopefully no changes for next year.
not that we've heard as of yet, so we currently only receive the state grant funding now, the federal funds are gone. If the federal funds come back around, then I'll reapply for those. But currently the state grant funding is picking up where the federal grant fell short.
Okay. While you're here, quickly, how'd the tax work-off program finish up? Full of applicants and filled out?
It was good, yeah, we had a significant number more that applied this year. We have 14 positions that were filled. I believe there were 24 applicants for the program this year, which is a lot more. But I think every department that requested a position or multiple positions was able to be filled.
Okay. Sometimes are there two people for one position on occasion?
There can be
Yeah.
multiple people for one position, yeah.
Okay. All right. That rolls us right over to the library. Who's up?
Library, we're in good shape budget-wise for this year. Everything is, will be fine by the end of the year. And, the move over to this building was challenging, but our staff did a great job. And we're settling in and people are coming,
Okay.
finding the library. And as far as anticipating for next year, really nothing other than things that are already scheduled for this building, like the
The
HVAC.
HVAC, is that right?
And maybe somewhere down the road, the new light fixtures, but I know that's
In the
down the
queue as
road a
well.
little bit. So, our immediate needs have been taken care of by, Herb, and, continuing, he's great. Bathrooms are up and running and changing tables there, and he's addressing the outside lighting, so, right now, library is in good shape.
Don't praise him too much, he's right there.
I know, yeah.
You're holding the line on fines too? They're not going up at all?
The fines are non-existent.
So they're holding the line. Good, thank you. Great. And we will touch on, Kathy, we will touch on that when Herb speaks in a bit, the projects he's got going on, which I think is everything you asked about at this point. So Herb will touch on everything I think you talked about when we get to him, so.
And the HVAC, we
Right.
just want to make sure we're in the loop, that it's going to be done
For the summer.
before May.
Well, when you get really cold, you'll know what's working. Right, there we go.
We don't want to get really hot though.
True.
Yeah.
All right. Health Department. Laurie? Hi.
I don't see any increases. I think we're holding pretty good. Some might be not to my attention at this time, I'm still new at this, bear with me, but I think we're okay.
All right, no changes in regulations that are going to affect. And then, of course, the other thing under your purview would be the transfer station. Obviously, that budget, and I know Don's been working with you on that.
Right.
Do you anticipate, and this will of course come back to advisory, that we're going to continue to need something from the tax rate to fund that program going forward?
Bear with me, I'm still educating on that. I will have numbers. I have some for Don, I'll give them to him a little later.
Okay.
And I am looking into a few opportunities to bring in a little bit more revenue, not much, but in this department.
All right. Just a quick update of that area. I spoke to the rep for Amoresco today, and they told me that the battery issue has been solved and is completely up and running at this point. Wendell, I don't know if there was a final inspection for that or it's scheduled or, but they did get the storage units.
In all the construction control documents now.
Okay.
There's a UL testing that the battery undergoes,
Mhm.
but the good news is the battery was kind of gone through, instead of being piecemeal, there was a whole system UL testing.
Okay.
So we just received all that documentation last week. Inspector Courtney's looking through everything just to make sure we're hitting all the UL NFPA guidelines that we need, but I've got all the construction control documents, so it's pretty much just a matter of dotting the i's, and we'll be able to finalize that.
Right, the one advantage of that, it does, and I think as Jana said, it does check the box for complete construction up there, so we do get the full appropriated tax value on it going forward. So,
The big thing was the UL testing,
right,
just to make sure, those batteries, we've had an issue with them coming in damaged and being removed and coming in, but.
so it came in as a package pre-approved, so that's good,
Exactly.
right,
So
good.
it's all a system, which is great.
Well, as long as you're talking, what's happening in planning, or in the building department?
Well, we continue to service all the permits that we've written last year. We did all our yearly inspections and everything. Actually with churches, daycares, restaurants and bars, working with fire. Recently, they've had a chimney fire that I was responded to with them. Thank God we don't get a lot of those. But we get them, car strikes or whatever, but we continue to respond. Our capital needs are, easy math. We do, education, postage, clerical stuff. So it really doesn't change from year to year too terrible much unless the phone bill goes up a little or whatever. But I don't anticipate anything crazy going in the future year,
Okay,
but it's hard to know.
right. Take it as it comes.
Yeah.
Right.
But realistically, if it's based on the last 10 years, all it is just a continuation now. We're in a really good rhythm. And with our new workplace, the days go by like crazy when you're not in the basement.
Okay, well, you weren't all the way in the basement. Speaking of that, though, let's go to conservation. And Bonnie, you're out of the basement now, so. Yes, you better.
No. The commission has recently hired Joe Zeno, who is sitting here next to me as the conservation agent. We've been trying for several years to find a person qualified to do the job, and Joe just happened to come along. And I just want to say that he's doing an excellent job. He's really putting over 100% into his work. Fortunately, Dick Patil and I have been working for several years on the conservation budget, and we have continually budgeted for a position of conservation agent, even though one hasn't been hired. So that now, I believe that we're going to be okay for, at least for 26, as far as the salary I make and the salary that Joe makes also.
And again, that comes back to, as Doug said before, any projected COLA would be what would affect those numbers for you. Right. Joe, stand up, please. All right, everyone, welcome. This is our newest employee. Welcome to you. So, Joe, we just tasked you with what? The new plan. Tell us about it.
Open space.
Yes.
So I'm beginning to work on the open space and recreation plan. And basically I'm coordinating with the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission right now to start meetings and start forming the committee and get the process going.
This is something we have Dan to thank for getting the grant for us. And I think you made a good point that this really falls into Concom and the expertise that Joe has to honcho it going forward. So kudos to both of you. I think that does bring up the point that we have a lot of departments here that go out and do a great job getting grants. Dan, Becky, Library gets grants, stuff like that, and all that speaks to the fact that it's great to get our money back from either the state or the feds. We send it there, it's nice when it comes back. They could do a better job, but they're doing something anyhow. All right, thank you, Joe. Planning. Pat,
Yes,
how are you?
just looking at 90 Pixley's note here. She wasn't able to make it this evening, but she did mention that. She said, I don't anticipate any additional budget needs beyond the standard salary and what we've carried for expenses in recent years.
Right now, do you anticipate anything for the town meeting? Are you guys working on any bylaw updates or changes?
No, nothing anticipated for me. We talked about possibly, as you remember, maybe reformatting bylaws.
That's not, yeah.
But that's,
That's-
on hold right now.
Right, and that wouldn't require town meeting work anyhow. My pet peeve would be, are we any closer to accepting the oldest private subdivision road in town? As we come up to 22 years since I signed the plan.
No, I haven't heard that we're any closer.
Okay. Great, well, there's always next year.
The Southwick,
No, it's Scannick Meadows, Kibbe Lane. Kibbe Lane. 22 years. All right, cemetery's getting there, thanks. Cemetery, Dwayne.
Thank you. Our, I'm gonna say body count has pretty much stayed the same, or slightly less this year. And as we're moving forward this year, we hope to go out a bid for a more contract. It's due to be reviewed. And we're also working on getting the loop in so that when you go up in the old cemetery, that you might be able to turn around without having to back into the graveyard. And vegetation, we've done a lot of removal of the trees and different bushes and things of that nature that have you've seen the stones. So we're going to continue to work on that. We don't anticipate any significant financial requirements. Just continue to work at making everybody happy.
So the turnaround, that's scheduled to be done in the spring or?
Yes, right now we need to go out to bid because of the size of the project. So we're putting together a bid document to get it and advertise.
Okay.
And at the same time, we'll be looking to put out the bid documents for the money.
Not a huge project, but just, yeah.
But it needs to get done. We also have that paving, which we've been working on, trying to figure out how that can happen.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Dan, give us a quick recap on parks.
I'll just go quickly through the accounts. Spray park expense account, we have spent approximately $4,000 less at this time than we had last year. We did a repair to the filtration system last year that increased our spending. So we feel good about that. When we open the spray park in May-ish or end of April, I'm sure there'll be some maintenance needs that the opener suggests, so we'll take a look at those, but feel very good for the spray park right now. Expenses, we are on par with within $200 of what we spent last year, so that's a good thing. We do have concerns going forward with the move to TWB and custodying our own hallway and the paper products and all those things that we didn't necessarily fully plan for last year. So we're keeping an eye on that and trying to be frugal where we can so we can stay within the budget, but that's something we're gonna have to adapt to going forward. And my hourly employee salaries, this is where we've spent $11,000 more than we had at this time last year. We were appropriated $13,000 more from last year to this year, so we've already spent $11,000 of that $13K extra that we were appropriated. And that's due to the move over here to TWB. We loaned a couple workers for 2 or 3, 4 weeks. And so that came out of our budget. So we had more hours than we typically have at that time of year. So right now, we gotta monitor our hours and see, we're also custodying our wing of the building. So we need to figure out, that's not necessarily something we had planned to do when we moved over here to be the custodian of the hallway. So that's an added expense that we hadn't necessarily planned on.
What hallway?
The Parks and Rec hallway, our wing.
The rear hallway.
I know what you're saying, I'm not sure we labeled it as his wing, but okay. We don't service that when we typically do no? Okay.
We have a custodian, we bring on a custodian, he asked me to stay in the budget.
Mhm.
So I did give you guys some of the bids that we put out there.
I understand, we
So
went,
I'm very-
and we're with Sarah, I know,
Yeah, so
yeah.
we brought Sarah on and kept it the same budget that we were running the cleaning company up at the old building. And obviously, it's triple the size of square footage that we're cleaning, and
Right.
bathrooms, and now, we're adding stuff to that. So, with Dan, the only one using them bathrooms, and this hallway, there's very little maintenance in this part of the building. And he's gonna sweep the hallways, sweep out his classrooms, and then the bathrooms, we used to have when we moved in here, we had our staff over there. Now they're not there. The bathrooms are not, they're only being used by Dan. So.
Well, there's other people.
Right.
He doesn't.
But it's his staff using that bathroom, there's two guys in that bathroom unless he opens it up to the public, and that's up to him. I mean, he has the bathrooms in the gym.
He's got the key, all right, great.
He's got the key to that.
All right, any capital things for next year, Dan? Obviously, the truck is still an issue,
That's the only one that
but I mean, obviously, it sounds like some possible solutions, or,
Yeah, that's the only one that I have on the list. There's other projects I'd like to do, but given the, the financial environment that we're in right now, we'll probably just hold on those for.
we all appreciate that.
John, can I make a comment on this
Sure.
conversation? It might be a good idea to have Dan and Herb and the selectmen sit down and kind of iron out this policy a little more formally. Obviously, you're not, you weren't fully brought into this, but the idea of not having one source of paper products and things just seems a little odd to me as far as efficient purchasing. So maybe, the five of you could get together and figure out exactly where this responsibility should all lie.
Again, as the growth process has come, we have the Phase A, Phase B, Phase C things. These are, we're actually just in our second month of occupation here.
And you looked a little puzzled there. A lot of the painting that happened in this building was done by his two maintenance workers. For like 3 weeks, they were painting up Sarah and Steve. And that was all on his nickel.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
Dan, now to the important thing, the golf simulator.
Yep. So we should have that, I'm hoping to have that functional on Monday. I have a couple remaining things, that's what I'll be working on for the rest of the week, is getting that finalized and up and working and playing with it enough to know how to use it so that we can have it staffed and have it rented out as people want to use it.
The spring is coming.
I know.
I think Don's volunteering for beta testing.
Yeah, really.
So is that one of the back classrooms, or?
Yep, that'll be one in the back.
I heard the big TV came in.
It's in the E1, that's just for our meetings, but we have a big projector and screen that you hit into that will be for the golf simulator, so. It'll just be for the spring, probably, that'll be like a seasonal classroom.
Yeah.
And then, I can take it down and put it back up, that's the beauty of it, it's a temporary setup, so I can take that down as we get to the golf months when people won't be using it as much. But I've heard a lot of demand for it, so I'm working on getting that thing cranked up.
Great. Okay, Herb, let's go right back to you. So, obviously, not a full year per se, but challenges going forward. As the library has indicated, one of our focuses is going to be public safety, i.e. taking care of the ramps, the lights outside, et cetera, and upcoming bid for the HVAC improvements here in the building. And then we have, now, as we complete the Phase A list, what's the Phase B list? And then again, as you get this place rolling along, you're looking at the other buildings in town as well. Because you are technically the facility manager, for all the buildings. You've been very good at working with the Senior Center Building Committee on their needs. And I think you've been at every facility we've had. You've been over at the police station, Academy Hall. You're still checking on the old town hall as well. And we'll touch on that later. So what do you see for needs coming up in '27?
So we have some needs coming up. So my biggest thing is, me and Brian are working on putting everything together. As you know, we just moved into the building, there's some, Dan's talked about custodial. I have some concerns with that myself. Dick's talked about the paper products. Me and Brian already have sat down and talked about how we wanna put this together. I've talked to the chief, police chief, I've talked to Mark, I've talked to, I don't see the fire chief too often, but we need to sit down and talk, and, so our ideas is we're gonna start lumping a lot of this stuff together. So, we have the space here now. Do we go out and buy products and have it on hand and stuff like that? And some of these conversations, people don't know, me and Brian have literally sat down and we wanna put all this together this year. And how we wanna take our maintenance and maybe combine them together and make sure that buildings are being taken care of out of one account. Custodial staff being taken out of one account, paper products and stuff like that. So it's a working progress.
Of course, it's a growth thing. I mean, last year, obviously, Dan was still using this building for basketball, et cetera, but the custodial in those bathrooms was funded a different way, if you will. Because obviously it didn't come out of the town hall use then, maybe in the school doing it, et cetera. Right.
I mean, some of the stuff we gave Dan from the school, technically, even though we were not housing anybody here from the school department, working for the school.
I know, but I thought they'd leave something. They were like the Grinch, just taking every light bulb when they left and just, got every roll.
I found some tractor-free computer paper they left.
Oh, really? Probably printed on one side already, but we could flip it over, right?
Yeah, so it's working progress. I have a lot of ideas that, I bounced off Brian, and we just gotta sit down and really hit home and put it all together.
Okay.
With me being out in the buildings, me trying to not spend money, and doing some of the work myself instead of hiring out. We had a sewer problem in the building over the weekend. I was out there ripping a panel off a thing in the sewer house this morning, putting that back together. Stuff like that, so we wouldn't have to come out and spend it. And that's some of the stuff that, some of this stuff needs to be replaced down the road. I do have a list as I'm going along. So capital wise, yeah, we have some capital wise stuff we wanna do, nothing huge. We're not replacing roofs or anything like that yet. Just a senior center.
It's a good roof. It's a good roof, right, Brian?
It's got a couple years left.
Okay, thank you.
But yeah, so, we're moving on the projects, the HVAC project here for the library, moving along the senior center we met today. I can't say enough about the admins in these buildings. They've been very, very good to work with, very supportive, so me coming in, being new and understanding the layout of the land and the buildings. I can't say enough about, back to you, chief, Mark's been super good, making sure, we guys, we can move stuff from one building to another. Everybody I've been involved with, I can't say enough of.
Okay, thank you. All right, now we get to where all the money is. All right, Dick, I'll save you for last. Okay, let's start with Eva.
Yes, sir.
Hi.
Hi.
So what's happening in the town clerk department?
As far as the clerk and collector, I don't see anything on the horizon. Things are just, I'm hoping to be about normal. Other than we should get a sticker petition blast for people complaining about their taxes, but I think we're good there. I was arrested today, by the way. But the elections, we're gonna be bumping up the election budget because we do have 2 additional elections coming up this year. We have state elections for fiscal '27 that we didn't have this year, so that's gonna hit the elections budget, but other than that, I really don't see anything.
Okay. All right, accountant, Elise, this is probably your first one of these.
I'm pretty much on budget for everything in my department, and I expect that there will be no increases for next year.
Okay, do we have an audit coming up or anything that might be?
Just had an audit.
Just had it, so we're good with that. Okay. Right? It's easy. Dick? Any words of wisdom?
Negative, so I don't know what to do now. As far as the budgets I'm responsible for, again, everything's, there's a few extra expenses we had to pay. We had to buy a few things when we moved to the new building, but I wanna thank everybody who made that move so smooth. I wanna thank Herb and certainly Brian. Hopefully you're watching the recording here and knows how much we appreciate that he made that thing work. It was absolutely amazing. Entree's been pretty good. The computers were up and running first day for me. Of course, I came in Saturday, so I'd be first in line, but gotta do payroll. But yeah, no, you are right, John, this is gonna be a very difficult budget year, probably as bad as anything we've seen in 10 or 15 years. So I am very concerned about that, but, we will do what we can do.
Thank you. Water Department, John, give us an update on your current project and what you see coming forward.
John Flash, the Water Department. As far as the current budget, I think we're okay, but there's more to come on that. We had to make 2 connections in '25. One was covered, and the second one was covered by the new construction. It was included, one of the homes that we're gonna hook up, so it's already in that quoted budget. Coming on this 26, we're gonna have a number of customers that are gonna come online sometime in the first quarter. And so that's gonna have an impact as far as the meter readers, and so I don't know what the budget's gonna be. It's definitely gonna be more than we have now.
Well, one thing that we had when we looked at the budget last year, and Don, correct me if I'm wrong, we had cut down the testing part because we anticipated that many of these homes would be on the new service by at least the fourth quarter, if not the third quarter of the fiscal year. You're waiting for the skid to come in and get the pump house built. That may require testing for the third quarter because it's not done, but at least the fourth quarter would only be testing the main line at that point.
That's correct.
Okay.
So that they only do the testing at the pump station and various other locations in the town, but as far as the testing all the properties.
We won't have to do that anymore, right, okay.
Yeah. John, these extra hookups you're talking about, are they as a result of the expansion of the district?
expansion, yes.
So we had one
project.
Well, we had, no, I mean, it was in the budget that we would hook up, say, 15 Smith Road, but all of a sudden their testing showed that they hit the PFAS limit. So to remediate that, we were able to hook them up right away. The pipe was already run in front of them. So, and adding one house on the road to the 20-something we were adding was not going to strain the system that we had at this point.
No, we're still good.
Right.
I'm anticipating the first quarter we'll have the pump house.
Right, so, and there was no real extra expense because it was in the budget to hook that house up. So it just decreases the number at the end.
That's correct.
Right. Oh, good, thank you, John. And is there anybody else who uses some money out of the budget that we should talk to? Oh, hi, John. John.
Before I mention Grinch. So let me start with, I heard your directive that we present a level services budget.
I think that was Doug, that was Doug.
Which you will intend to do again. I will say, we are implementing what I call a level services light budget this year, because as you may recall, we reduced our transportation services. We went to a 3-tier model, not primarily for budgetary reasons. The issue was that we had very unreliable transportation service last year because it was designed for a number of buses that exceeded the number of drivers that you could hire. So we went to a 3-tier system this year. It has not been perfect, but has to a large extent resolved the problems with transportation and saved several $100,000 in the process. In terms of achievement, we had a lot of nice gains this year. This was the first year that students who were not impacted by a COVID shutdown entered what we know is the testing window. Students are tested every year in grades 3 through 10. So last year's third graders were the first group of third graders who were like after COVID was done. We were hoping to see some nice improvements in their achievement, and we did see that. groups that came before them definitely were impacted by missing some school during really important years of their education. We also saw some great improvements in achievement in the middle school, particularly in math. Again, that was not due to any kind of change in resource provided, but just some changes we did in administration, mainly changing the schedule, which provided about 30 more lessons per year. And allowed teachers to get like 2 more chapters done, which ended up having a big impact on student achievement scores. We've had a great deal of success increasing access of students to higher level classes in our high school. Higher level classes are defined as AP classes or vocational classes or certain other types of classes. In fact, we learned last Friday that we are going to be named in the National AP Honor Roll, which is an honor that you receive by hitting certain metrics for the number of students who take AP classes, the number of students who score 3s or better on their AP test, which means that they're essentially college equivalent, and the number of students who took 5 or more AP classes. So that's all good news. In terms of climate, we've seen some really nice improvements in climate, decreases in student suspensions and expulsions, decreases in bullying, increases in student reported levels of culture in their school. So that's good. Our athletic program was very successful last year, as it is most years. Most teams qualified for postseason play, had an All-American diver. Our lacrosse team went back-to-back Central West state champions, so that was good. Our music program is expanding, mainly because, again, not new teachers, but increasing the size of the class. Music is one of the few classes where larger class sizes is actually better. So we've doubled the size of our orchestral classes and tripled the size of our string classes. So all that is on a definite positive upswing. And as we got towards the end of the year, we started to really have some concerns about our physical plant needs at the middle school in particular. And with that, I'll yield the remainder of my time to Doug.
Thank you. So I'll just say that in the current fiscal year to date, we're about midway through the fiscal year, as we can tell, and I'll explain in a second, our budgets are on track. We do have 2 unsettled contracts with our largest unions that has some questions as to where that will land. We're in a process of trying to get those finished up hopefully in the next few weeks. That'll also impact our budgeting for the coming year, and so those will have impact on our budgets. Fully 75% of our operating budget is driven by personnel and the costs associated with those, with health insurance and other benefits that we have. So how those contracts settle will really make a big difference as to the kind of pressure we have moving forward. At present, we're trying to build a budget based on what we know at the moment. We don't have information yet on health insurance. That's a pretty significant cost for us. We're anticipating a pretty high increase. Hopefully, I've estimated sufficiently conservatively, and we'll land a little lighter than that. And so that'll provide some relief to the assessments that you guys will be asked to fund. I think outside of that, the other challenges where state aid for schools are going to come in, what Chapter 70 is going to look like. Taking a modest approach to that. Hopefully some of the conversations that are starting that won't be resolved, I'm sure, by the time the budgets get settled about how Chapter 70 formulas might get changed. But hopefully those will work in a direction that are going to continue to support our schools. The challenge, generally speaking, around that is that the increase in our overall costs go up faster than the amount of state aid goes up, which puts a lot more burden on you guys.
Well, that's the regular budget, but again, I thought the biggest mover, based on, I think, the projection we saw before, was your need for capital costs.
Yeah, we have some significant capital costs. The numbers I gave you probably a month ago now are I would suggest hopeful. Obviously, knowing that it's a level of ask that is not affordable to the community at this point in time. So we'll continue to refine those over the coming weeks and work with you to find a set of projects and resources that you can meet And there was one other thing I wanted to mention, no, what was it? Yes, thank you, that's what it was. So the one other thing not in your favor is the change in number of students as a percentage. So the assessment is based on your percentage of students relative to the number of students that your friends in Wilbraham have, and so it has shifted over the last couple of years and continues to shift where you guys have a larger percentage of your budget, of the assessment, that has been the case. So you've got additional pressure on your budgets from the increased number of students enrolled as a percentage of the total. So just a heads up.
How much of a shift is it, or isn't the census firm yet?
The census is set, but it's about,
Which is about 1%.
yeah, it's about a 1%.
For 1%?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Right.
Wow.
So it's shifting in that direction, and so that's another pressure on the overall ask of your community for funding. So those are the things to keep in mind. Like I said, we're still in process with putting together a first full draft of the budget and a little deeper dive. Obviously waiting on things like.
Well, you have the same pressures we have. We have two accounts that really provide the biggest pressure on our budget. One is county retirement, where they're trying to do quite a bit of makeup for inefficiencies in the past, where that number is typically going up close to six figures now on an annual basis.
Is that efficiency or criminality?
Yeah. This is a recorded session, but that's fine. And then employee benefits, which the town has been pretty good to its employees. You know, we've brought it up to 75% on the participation level. But that being said, where we're seeing anywhere from a projection of 4 to 7%, you know, even though there's question about the ACA, the town does not pay into the ACA. Municipalities are exempt from that. So even 4 to 7% is a pretty significant jump on a pretty large budget. So, and those are ones you really can't do anything about. That's just grin and bear it, and that's a number you get. So, is there anybody that didn't get a chance to speak? Any department or?
Jane.
Assessors.
I missed the assessors. Jane.
So you should have gone alphabetically up.
You had your chance, Jane. So the assessors, please.
Assessor's office is right on track for fiscal '26. No major changes or anything like that. Fiscal '27, there is a vendor we use to do our permit inspections and Sugoco inspections we have to do every 10 years. He is not doing it anymore. So he's an assessor out of Belchertown. He just doesn't have, you know, health-wise and time-wise. So I have looked at another vendor to do it. It'll be a little bit of an increase, not too bad, but he is local, which will help. Other than that, there doesn't seem like any major changes for '27.
Okay. How is it, we talked earlier, how is your department? Obviously, as Doug talked about, there's a lot of chatter about the tax bills going out, a lot of social media chatter, but has it manifested in actual people calling your office?
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of calls, a lot of people coming in, which I'd rather people come in and, you know, talk to us about it and you know, understand it more and get educated on what's going on with everything, and so, but it's normal this time of year, so.
It is, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Did they leave happy?
Some yes, some. Yeah, some will just do the calculations a little wrong, so that kind of helps. They're like, oh, it didn't go up that much, but assessments did go up, and you know, they're gonna go up every year, and I don't see them going down anytime soon, so.
Well, are there many people actually getting to the point where they're filing for abatements?
Some, yes, not what is that, as much as I thought there would be,
Right.
but not.
You know, I mean, you saw a lot on social media where people, oh, I'm gonna rush right in. And then maybe after your conversation with them, oh, that's why it happened, and, okay, nothing's gonna come from filing for an abatement based on that, right?
People don't understand how the whole system works. The fact that you do the entire increase in the second two payments.
Right.
So it looks twice as bad as the reality.
Well, it could be worse. Talking to Brian, he's up in Southampton, their tax rate was turned down by the state. So their third quarter bill will not include the increase, all the increase will be on the fourth quarter bill, which would be, if you imagine how it is on 2 out of 4, imagine what it's like on 1 out of 4. So we're not there, thank goodness. We have a great department. We've never been turned down by the state. all this stuff has been lined up.
This was Jane's first time through that, she was a rock star, she did a great job. And Elisa's first time through it too, and this went really smooth, the setting the tax rate, I was impressed with.
Well, working with you, Dick, I mean, seriously.
Trust me, I don't take the credit for this.
I wasn't offering you credit. I was saying even working with you, they deserve more.
That's true, they have to be pretty tough to do.
Thank you.
I have to echo Dick there. It wasn't just setting the tax rate, but merging the systems and everything with regard to the assessors, merging with collectors. Everything, just thank God, went through.
It was amazing how quick everybody was set up and running after the move, really was. I mean, everyone coming in, working weekends and stuff like that, and it really was, to make sure that the public was serviced as quickly as possible, and thank you. All right, so if there's any comments from Eric or Don? Yep, you awake?
What?
Mr. Trump?
No, I'll reserve my comments for next week.
Thank you. Eric? All right, great. Well, if there's nobody else.
Or emails at 4:00 in the morning.
Oh, really? Thank you. I do apologize, there are no cookies here tonight. So if there's nothing else, we'll conclude the State of the Union meeting, see you all here next year, if you will. Thank you.
Probably a couple of weeks. That's okay.
Or a couple of weeks, exactly.
Next week.
Thank you.
It's disappointed.
All right, sir.
Wow. 3. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, well done. Who wants these? Elise?
I'm so used to that.
Get these?
The phones are next to my bed. Hang on. What's up?
All right. Chief, you got? Come on.
Yeah.
Sit in front, I don't care.
Next year.
And
all right. Okay. So we can get out of here by, I know.
solve some crime, will you get out here?
I know everybody wants to get out and buy a new Powerball ticket, but so we can move it along. Hey, Chief. Everybody, we still got a meeting here, please. We're still meeting, so we have. Okay. All right, we have before us the fire chief bringing forth a candidate. Really? You really want to do this, right?
Yes.
Great. Anybody, any objection? No, thank you.
This evening, I'm bringing forth Evan Bernash. He's from Wolverhampton, he meets the mileage requirement to the town line. He's interested in helping out the community.
Dad. Bonnie, we got a meeting up, we can't hear these guys. Okay, thank you.
He's from Wolverhampton, meets the requirement, the mileage within 2 miles of the town line.
The name's familiar, I swear, Dr. Bernice or something
Don's
like
got a question, he's searching something.
Dan Bernice.
But I think he's older than that.
I gotta believe it. Okay, so you said you're not older than 18.
Oh, I filled out 2 of them. The first one, when I scrolled through to check everything, I must have clicked it. Yeah.
He just wanted to
I
make
am
sure.
double 18.
Okay.
Paying attention. Make sure people are looking at the paperwork.
So I submitted
Kudos,
too.
you know.
All right, good.
Yeah.
So he's interested in being involved in community, helping out, and saw the opportunity that, the fire department offers a call force, and that, so he applied.
Great.
I interviewed met with him. Seems like a great stand-up character, and I want to recommend him for accept him as a probationary firefighter.
Oh, was that the corner of Stony Hill and East Long Meadow Road, that area there? Yeah, okay, I thought so. So you're sped teacher at what school? Minnetonka itself, okay, great. And, all right, board, have any more in-depth questions to really dig into this?
Speechless.
Are you really? Great. So with the full recommendation of the fire chief, I'll entertain a motion to appoint Evan to the role of probationary firefighter.
So moved.
Subject to all requirements and permits, testing, if you will. All in favor?
Aye.
Sorry to put you through it like that, you know.
No, you're not.
Pretty intense sometimes.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
Just in case you don't think we read the application, Don's right there.
I read everything.
That's it.
Now what?
There's a little sentence after that, I believe, in the agenda, talk about.
Firefighter staffing and hiring discussion.
Oh, staff?
Yeah, so, we've been bringing these probationary firefighters on and we're training them, they're going to the academy, they get an EMT, they remove non-some, get their paramedic license, but they go to work for other departments, whether it's Wolverhampton, East Long Meadow, anyway, they're all over the place, and it's great, but, so if we have availability of our, staff, or someone's on vacation or calls in sick, I wanna be able to backfill that, so these people that move on, they obviously move out of our mileage from the town line to be on the call department, but I would still like to be able to call them up and put them on a list that I could call in to fill a shift.
Okay.
And I just want permission.
Well, the shift, yeah, the shift doesn't have a mileage requirement because that's a paid employee per se.
Correct.
So why can't you just do that?
I can, I just want to make sure that
So,
we say that.
so if someone's on vacation, you would call someone in on a per diem basis, or?
Right, so we always have coverage.
But you have three.
Backfill it through the call department.
Yeah.
Sometimes we can't do it, and we have two, or someone comes in for half a day, it's fine.
So it's a secondary list because obviously this person now they work for such and such, they're now 10 miles away.
Right.
But they're well-trained, they're qualified, they know the system, you'd like them on a secondary list that you could use.
Right, plus they've already been through our organization, which is huge. They already know our ins and outs, they know our equipment, it's not like bringing somebody and have to teach them how to run this truck, certain truck, or where the equipment is on it, they know everything.
I don't know if that really comes to us. I mean, he's the chief, he runs his department, he has a qualified person.
You're good.
I think we're good with that.
You're good.
Okay.
No. I mean, we're not gonna question, oh, this guy has this training, whatever. Who knows it but you or your people? Right. So if you're looking for our blessing, keep going that way.
Well, I just didn't want to do it.
It won't be a surprise to us that you're doing, right.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
Thanks, Chief.
All right, thank you.
All right, the Townhouse Repurposing Committee, I see what we have so far. Gentlemen, hello. So we did get a list from our town administrator, some other people who expressed interest on being on this committee. And since the criteria for being on the committee, I think, as Mr. Davenport said, was warm and breathing, both, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. We have no reason not to assume these people would be qualified. We did talk about, the meeting is this Thursday, right? 10 o'clock? Municipal meeting?
Municipal meeting, right.
Right? And do we want to, you all got that list, I don't know why. Well, if that list of the other names from Brian, do we want to go ahead and invite them to our meeting and see, you know, assess their interest rather than just willy-nilly putting them on the committee? I don't think, we spoke to these gentlemen why they wanted to be on. I don't think it'd be appropriate just to say, oh, okay, just because you called Brian, you get to be on the committee.
Well, there's 17 of them, that's the problem.
Right, so I think we need to, that actually could be something. We have, next week's meeting, we have I would think we're gonna probably figure 45 minutes to an hour for the public hearing. And after that, we really don't have a lot. And I think that would be the time to say, let's flesh out this committee and get this thing moving. So I'd suggest we invite you're here next Tuesday? I am. You are, okay. I would suggest that we invite the other interested parties to our meeting next week, and so we can put this committee, there were a total 17 more.
17 total.
And we have a couple of people we think ex officio, we should put the building inspector on. Ex officio, maybe the chief would want to be on ex officio as well. Things like Herb, but not a member of the committee, but they're like the town representatives to it, and one member of the board. Probably I think, you're away 2 weeks from now, right?
Correct.
Okay, we're gonna,
So
he's on the board, right? We'll vote that time.
That's usually what happens.
That's usually what happens.
And we also have a mission statement.
Yeah, I saw you put that, I think we fleshed that out and approved that. So we would suggest that the 4 members of the current committee that were appointed last week which is you three gentlemen plus Joe. Joe was away, I believe, right? Birthday?
Yep.
What a guy. You see, we all came in on our birthday, didn't we? I think so, yeah, right.
We're off camera, I don't know if you care. I don't know if we're off camera, I don't know if you care.
Oh, that's the best, I think.
It's the best.
They want to see them, not us.
Believe it or not.
Yeah. Eric was concerned he wasn't on camera and like,
It's got my good side.
yeah, good side, thanks. So we hope to see you all here Thursday. It'll be in this room, I would imagine.
Well, that's the municipal building. meeting.
Yes, right. So,
And then next
And then-
Monday, we'll,
Tuesday,
Tuesday,
we'll, at 7 o'clock, we'll invite the other people to come. So next Tuesday at 7, which is going to be, I will say, a little loose because, again, we have the public hearing for Bayberry Colony.
National.
It could be anywhere, it could be anywhere from 30 to 70 people there. So in order to conclude, we're probably not going to close it with some questions still being out there. I would anticipate it's not going to take more than an hour, but it could. No, that's the cafetorium. Okay.
That's what, Tuesday?
That's Tuesday, that'll be at 6. And I hope by 7 o'clock we'd be able to meet with everybody interested. You all would be able to ask them questions as well. You are the committee. What's your interest? Are you of an open mind? Which is the key part there.
You guys are selected, so.
Right.
What's your take on the whole thing? Do you have a take on it right now?
I would say my take is that we haven't heard all the different options at this point. That's the thing, and by putting more people there, not everybody, but somebody's gonna come up with something we haven't thought of.
You're gonna get some ideas that are, I'm telling you, because the town of Brimfield, when they moved out of their town hall out there and they moved into that White House, that thing was structurally not sound and they fixed it. And there's no one in it, and they're still, after 20 years, they're still holding on to that building because nobody can make a decision because there's so many opinions.
Right, but again, so we've heard things, we're gonna hear more things, and then by the time somebody thinking outside the box, great. Somebody heard about a grant somewhere, great, but we've kicked the can down the road too long. We've known about this, we had to move here, we had to take care of this building, but now we'd like an answer, honestly, I'd like an answer before we pass the next budget.
Well, I'd like-
I don't want the expense on next year.
I already have an opinion on one.
I'm sure, but I mean, we could be spending, if we don't do something, we're gonna be spending for utilities and insurance.
Exactly.
Right.
We gotta start the process
And
somewhere.
so,
Like you said, this year is gonna be a tough year.
It's a tough year.
Next year's gonna be a tougher year.
in terms of
People
the,
holding on to that thing, there goes warmlight.
right, are you talking about in terms of the size of the committee? Because
No, I just want to
15.
know.
I don't think their size is.
The thought.
15 or 17 people is too much.
that's too much, but I think once we hear from these people, we'll know where their focus is. I mean, honestly, you don't want, and maybe the other people will say, oh, well, that person is saying exactly what I was thinking, so I don't need to be on there. I've already got somebody with my point.
They're coming up with, they're like,
Right, so, Tad,
I feel like your committee's probably a number's around 7, if I'm just throwing that out there. The other thing is, if you got 17 people, I feel like you need to have a little bit more structured way to vet those 17, because I'll say just for me sitting here, just because I was at the meeting last week and I raised my hand, doesn't necessarily mean I should be on that committee. If you have 17 people and you vet those 17, and you have 5 that have some experience and something that you would be looking for, and the rest, the people that got named last week don't make it, that kind of is what it is. They can still get a chance to be at a meeting and say, these are my ideas, and put them on a whiteboard or whatever.
Sure.
I'm just saying, I think there's people that would probably complain that there's already 4 people on the committee that really didn't get very vetted. You know what I'm saying, I something a little more robust in.
we might have to make a limit.
right, I think you're right in the 7 to 9 people. I mean, for instance, right now, CPA is 9 people. And that, I think, is the most you would have on a committee. Maybe 7 is the right number. But I think a variety of ideas is key. Like I say, if we're vetting the people and 4 people in a row say, I want to be on the committee because I don't think it should be torn down. Okay, but that's not a going forward type thing. That's not a member of the committee that has an idea or what to be done with it. That's just an opinion, if you will.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm just talking out loud that those 17 and probably friends and neighbors would be like, wow, these guys already named a committee and there's only a few spots left. That's all I'm saying.
I agree, okay.
You know, you think about it.
Yeah.
There may be 17 people that have an idea, but they have one idea.
That's okay, and I think that's,
Versus somebody that has.
right, but as Tad said, they're welcome to come to any of the meetings anyhow and express them. Right. Like you say, throw it up on the whiteboard, here's our 10 ideas. I would say go back to the middle school task force, or what was the last one that went all the way to, was it the high school thing, where they have choices up in the double letters after a while? And then you start weeding them out, right?
So when is that next meeting, Thursday at 10 here?
Well, there's a meeting, municipal building meeting, and you've been to those before, I think, where it's an overview of all the buildings. That's at 10 o'clock. Don usually handles that. And then next week, at our regular select board meeting on Tuesday night, regular because of the holiday, I believe. Yeah. So we have a public hearing from 6 to, we anticipate 7 o'clock. And then on the agenda, we'll have 7 o'clock, Old Town Hall Building Committee membership, if you will. And at that point, we'll have it done. Here are the 7 to 8, 9 people tops, and move forward. And come, start meeting, come up with an idea.
We should have a mission statement for.
Right,
to direct
mission
out.
statement.
That's what I was gonna ask.
And then close the door. Here's the draft one, and we'll put that to bed.
Thursday.
No, that's next month, next Tuesday.
Tuesday at 7 is really the important.
So we don't have to be up to.
Not that they're not all important.
No, Thursday is an overall, all the buildings together, right, so, we got the issue, obviously, growth at the fire station. Academy Hall has always been a thing on my thing, it's not expensive, but the electric bills have been climbing and climbing and climbing. The municipal buildings, heck, we got a new pump house going in for the water district, which may need to be insured and may need to be, something like that. It's gonna have a much higher value than what we have now. We have things going on here. We've talked about moving the generator from the old town hall to here. And honestly, that needs to be done because we don't have, the system we have here is not enough to run the building. So that's gotta be done. And now we have,
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we
that's-
got- I'll talk
all right,
about that.
any other questions? All right. No. Eric, do you wanna beat these guys
I
up?
do have a question, but it doesn't extend to this.
Okay.
Just quick question, what's going on with the Wilbraham Middles?
That's a great question. Anybody else have a question? No?
What's going on with the Wilbraham Middle School is that they have extensive, they've withdrawn the application for the repair, and they're going forward with the core program to see if it needs to be repaired, gutted totally, or a new school. But in the meantime, we're insisting that they make some repairs to the, particularly the ventilation system and those type of things. The issue being that Wilbraham owns the building, and according to the agreement, they're responsible for the full funding of it. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. If you had a car that needed repair, but you're planning on buying a new one in 3 years, you'd do a little to get it running. Yep.
Like, a new school, they just moved that thing 2 years ago. Brand new roof and all the new stuff.
Well, that's one of the issues, that's one of the issues under the mass, that's one of the issues under the mass building assistance program, that if you don't go the full 20 years, they can take the money back for what they gave for the roof, so.
There you go.
There you go.
I'm happy.
All right. Is there, obviously, we don't have a town administrator report. I'll give no, we signed them last week. I don't have numbers. I'll give a quick report. I went to the school committee meeting last Thursday. I don't know if any of you watched it. Did you? Okay, well, that must have been the highlight of your night.
It was interesting.
Okay, thank you. And I reported what the board said, that we felt there was some misinformation provided at an earlier school committee meeting. I hoped what I said set the record straight. I did make the point to him as well, like, why aren't you looking at Memorial for any things that could be used? You know, I'm sure they have some great doors there that are in good shape, and I've been to many schools in my life, and by golly, those doors all look the same. So, since they're two Town of Wilbraham buildings, you have a stockpile, go over and grab them and move them over. But apparently, nobody ever thought of that, so. All right, and that's, other than that, I thought it was well received. And they had a, obviously, right after me was, I think, a row of teachers talking about why the contract hadn't been finalized, and so that, to be honest, middle school is important, but they've got to get that straightened out.
They gotta get
You know,
that.
because right now, we're halfway through the fiscal year, there could be quite a bit of,
Contracts.
not knowing what's going on, but, you know, there could be quite a bit of makeup, if you will, if there's a retro thing to it. You know,
It's gotta be,
potentially,
right?
potentially, yeah, yeah. All right, anything else to come before the board? Don, are you going Wednesday, or sorry, Thursday?
I'm gonna come Thursday, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
We do have a meeting this Wednesday with that Ryan Paxton, the new advisory committee for the health, you know, Long Meadow, that.
Oh, great, great.
I do have a meeting,
Where's that gonna be?
14 Zoom, it's virtual on the
Oh,
14th.
great.
So I'll report back next week.
Okay, thank you. Anything, Ed, why are you still here?
I like you guys.
We like you too.
No, seriously. No, seriously, though.
I was gonna talk after the meeting.
Okay.
I'm not gonna be able to make the 10 o'clock meeting Thursday, and I didn't know if anybody needed any information.
Okay, great. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Ruth, there was never no chat things or anything, was there?
Yes.